Now I'm all about space saving, especially when it comes to my work desk. Now, a large percentage of my time is sat at my desk working, and I am constantly shuffling my stuff to make my life easier. Now, the biggest thing on my desk is my monitor at the moment. Well, all bar my gaming desktop PC, and I do get annoyed with it every day, but that's mainly because of the footprint of the stand. But Samsung have come up with a solution with their new space monitor. It's a 32-inch screen that sits on an articulating stand that hooks onto the back of your table rather than having a traditional pedestal setup. Now, we actually tested the 32-inch 4K model here, which unfortunately only comes in at 60Hz refresh rate with a 4 millisecond grey to grey response time, but has some wonderfully vivid colours. It also has some lovely skinny bezels too, so your focus is really on the screen rather than its actual real estate. The Samsung Space Monitor is covered in a space grey colour theme, and it just screams simplicity. It's a very smart addition for your productivity. Once the arm has been attached to the backside of the desk, you can then position the monitor towards you. Now for me, I had to move the monitor face down at me, very much like so, as it sat a little too high for me to use kind of straight on. Now there are grooves in the back of the stand as well, so you can kind of cable manage your cables through the grooves in the back of the actual monitor stand itself. Now, one issue for me though is the fact that the monitor cannot swivel and it cannot move up and down. It's literally fixed in this position, and the only movement you have is a tilt forward and back, and that's the whole stand and the monitor on two separate brackets. A really nice feature though is the fact that my MacBook Pro could fit quite comfortably underneath the monitor as long as it was at its vertical state like this. I'll let you know now that this monitor is really for productivity rather than gaming. It's not a gaming monitor in any shape or form, and that's all due to its refresh rate and low response time. So don't get it if gaming is going to be your primary focus. Now on the back of the Samsung Space Monitor is a single HDMI input, a mini display port, and a USB Type A service port. There's no full-size display port, which I would have liked to have seen, and I wish there were some more HDMI ports as well, or even a USB Type-C input like you can find on the newer Dell monitors that would work very well with things like the MacBook Pros or the new Dell XPS 15 range. Now, setup was a little on the long side as I had to remove the bottom of the C-clamp to actually slide the stand down the rear of my desk without having to actually move my entire desk away from the wall, because that just would have been so long to do. It wasn't really a bad setup by any means, but when you've got monitors now on the market that have clip-in pedestals, then this could put some people off. I also had to tilt the monitor right the way forward to get to the ports, which actually is quite nice because where my desk is in my office at the moment, it sits up against the wall. So getting the cables into the back of the monitor when this was pretty much flush against the wall wasn't an easy feat, but because of the actual pedestal, you can bring this all the way down like so, and then you can actually get all of your cables in the back, trail them through the grooves in the back of the pedestal stand, and then position it however you wanted to get the monitor positioned like that, or if you're really tall, then like that. Now the actual menus themselves are very easy to navigate your way through thanks to the joystick on the rear of the monitor. It beats having individual button presses hands down, and you can find your usual brightness, contrast and sharpness and color tone options within those menus as well. Being a 32-inch monitor, you have a decent amount of real estate to play with. It makes productivity a lot smoother as you can fit more on your screen at any one time. For me, having my emails open as well as my browser window to write this review, for example, was really pretty great. It's not quite ultra-wide levels of real estate, but the 4K resolution can make windows small enough while still retaining their sharpness. Now, I would use our new Spider X Elite. We measured the screen at 99% of the sRGB color spectrum and 91% of the DCI-P3 color spectrum, so color work is pretty decent here. But overall, I absolutely love this monitor. The pedestal-less design gives, I would say, about a square foot of space on the desk back to you over traditional monitors. And it's enough to fit a laptop or even things like coffee cups, small plant for example, or for me, my audio interface which sits underneath for my condenser microphone. The display is alright in terms of colour and vividness, but it lacks refresh rate and response time, especially in the 32-inch model. It's costly, I will say. It's not cheap, but for the £499 asking price, it could be worth it if you're very limited in space. So thank you very much for checking out our video review of the Samsung Space Monitor. This is the 32-inch version 4K. If you enjoyed this video, then do click that like button. Please do subscribe to keep up with our latest tech and gaming videos. I will also leave links in the description now to our Mixer, where we stream 2 or 3 times a week during the week, and we've also got a link in the description to our podcasts, where you can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all your favourite podcasting apps. They should be there. But I'll leave links in the description. While you're down there seeing those links, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think of the Space Monitor, whether you would go for something like this or whether you would stick to something more traditionally gaming. As I say, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.